Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, we are going to talk about staying sane as an essential worker. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all of the essential workers who are out there. Whether you're in the medical field, whether you're picking up trash, whether you're out working in restaurants or in food service, whatever you're doing, I want to say thank you. The rest of us couldn't stay home and isolate and stay safe the way that we are if you weren't taking those risks. And the reality is that you are taking risks. And those risks can add up to anxiety and stress. And these sorts of things can start to weigh on you mentally and emotionally. So I wanted to do my part as a coach and counselor to really give you some tips and tricks and ways that you can help to resolve that stress. Really, at the end of the day, these are just fundamental stress management strategies that can help you to stay sane. The first thing is very, very simple. Stay safe. Make sure that you're prioritizing your physical well-being. If you don't take care of yourself, you're not doing good for anyone else. Because as soon as you stop taking care of yourself, if you get sick, if you become so mentally and emotionally overwhelmed that you can't perform anymore, it's not going to benefit anybody. In fact, it's just going to hurt them. So make sure that you stay physically safe by following all the best medical practices, but also keep yourself emotionally safe and emotionally sane. Make sure that you're taking time to take care of yourself. Self-care is one of the most important things that we don't talk about often enough, or at least we're not practical in the ways that we talk about self-care. There are a million blog posts and a million videos about how to take care of yourself. Because the reality is that it's really important. The hard thing about self-care is that it looks different for each and every one of us. I don't know what your needs are. And therefore, it's hard for me to talk about things. So I'm going to talk about general things that anybody can do to take care of themselves. The first thing, and I think it's the absolutely most important thing, is getting enough rest. Make sure that you're getting enough sleep. There are tons of studies that show that when we're not sleeping well, it has an impact on our emotions, it has an impact on our performance, and at the end of the day, it just hurts us. So make sure that you're getting the rest that you need. Whether that be sleep, whether that be just hanging out in front of the television, do what you need to do to give yourself a mental and emotional break. Make sure you're making time to rest. Now, I know that's easier said than done. A lot of you have very demanding jobs. I know that after demanding jobs, it's hard to get to sleep at night. That's okay. There are plenty of things that you can do to help yourself rest and help yourself get to sleep. My advice is start looking at guided meditations or other grounding exercises, other mindfulness exercises. There are a ton of them out there on YouTube. I've talked about some of them in other videos. But use them to help yourself relax, to help your brain shut off so you can get the rest that you need. The other thing is make sure you make the time for your physical well-being as well. Exercise and eating well are super important. Exercise is usually one of the first things that slips, at least for me, when I become overwhelmed and stressed. It's something that I stop thinking about, and it's something that I stop doing, but it's detrimental to my well-being. Exercise has a huge impact on our psychological well-being. It has a huge impact on how we feel every day because it releases endorphins. It has other positive effects on our brain. And so while you don't necessarily think about it as a mental well-being exercise, it really is. Make time to work out, to be active physically. The other thing is to make sure you're making time to eat well. For me, this generally means taking time to do meal prep on my days off. Do I hate it? Yes. I have to admit, I do hate doing meal prep. But it's worth the effort because it makes eating healthy easy for the rest of the week. And research has shown that the microbiome in our guts has a huge impact on things like depression, how we think, how aware we are, and even how well we perform on certain tasks. So it's important to take that time to eat healthy and to be physically fit and active. Another thing that you can do is to share. Sharing takes all sorts of different forms. It can be talking to God or your higher power. It can be talking to friends or family, sharing with them what's going on inside of your head and how you're doing emotionally. And I think the easiest one for all of us to do is journaling. Sharing with a piece of paper. We don't always have the relationships in place where we trust people enough to share all of our deepest, darkest things. That's okay. That's what journals are for. Write it down. The biggest barrier for people is that they don't know what to write. And you know what? It really doesn't matter what you write. And that's kind of an easy thing to say and a harder thing to do. But one of the things that you can start to do is getting into the habit of writing. Take 3 to 5 minutes every day to just write whatever comes into your head. Over time, you'll find what form of journaling works for you. The other thing is there are all sorts of different journaling formats that you can try online. For example, the bullet journal. These are all sorts of resources that you can use to start sharing. Now, here's the important thing. There's a big difference between sharing and telling. As a counselor, I deal with a lot of people who are sharing or telling me deep, dark things about their lives, and they do it like they're reading a laundry list. I'm getting a divorce. Yeah, it hurts. And my parents beat me as a kid. It wasn't pleasant. And you see my point. They sit down in the session and they're just telling me things. There's a big difference between telling and sharing. When you're sharing, you're feeling the emotions as you're telling it to the person. It's very easy for us to say, oh yeah, I'm telling people all about my day. I'm telling people that I'm stressed. I'm telling people that I'm having these thoughts. But we're not actually sharing them. And because we're not sharing them, because we're not feeling the emotions when we talk about it, we're not really getting it out of us. So my encouragement to you, when you're journaling, when you're talking with your friends and family, make sure that you're sharing with them, not just telling them. It requires some practice. It requires some effort, some conscious decision making on your part to make sure that you're doing that. But trust me, it's worth it. The last thing is, how do you find the motivation? The motivation for self-care, the motivation to go to work. The secret is you don't. You don't. It's not about finding the motivation. It's about building the habits. It's about getting into the routines. We don't always feel motivated to do things, but if the habit is in place, the motivation doesn't matter. For example, I wake up every morning and I take a shower and I brush my teeth. It's not something that I have to think about. It's not something that I have to get motivated to do. It's something that I've been doing my whole life, and it's a habit. It's a routine for me. You can make things like exercise, journaling, sharing, all of these, you can make them habits in your daily life. And by making them habits, they become second nature, and motivation is a lot less important. So how do we build habits? If you want a deep dive on habits, I strongly encourage you to check out the book Atomic Habits. It's a really fantastic resource that goes much deeper than I'll be able to go in this video. But the basic idea is very simple. Habits start small. You need to make them easy and you need to make them short. In the book Atomic Habits, they recommend 2 minutes. Make your new habit 2 minutes long. For example, going to the gym. Go and drive to the gym, walk into the gym, and then leave the gym. And do that every day at the same time. Eventually, Driving to the gym and getting out of your car and going into the gym will become second nature. When that becomes second nature, grow the habit. Spend 5 to 10 minutes. And then over time, you keep increasing it until you're doing an hour at the gym every single day, and it becomes second nature. So often we try to jump into habits by saying, I'm going to do this full bore. I'm going to do an hour of exercise every day. I'm going to do an hour of journaling every day. And then we give it up after a day and a half, 2 days. And it just happens. It's a reality. We all struggle with this. But the easiest way to do it is to start small and to build it. The key is making sure that you're sticking to a schedule, making sure that your habits have appropriate triggers. These are sorts of things that you can do to start building in healthy self-care routines. Thank you for all the work that you continue to do. Hopefully some of these things can be valuable to you and you can start implementing them in your life to help you stay sane. If you have any things that you're doing that are helping you stay sane, please leave a comment. It could help somebody else. If you have any ideas for future videos, leave it in the comment section. If you want to chat, feel free to schedule an appointment with me at mudgementalhealth.com. Thanks for watching.